Start. Start, start recording. Okay. So streaming started, right? Yeah. Okay. Done. Okay. Hello, guys. Hope you can see me. Hello, guys. Is it everything clear? Can you see me? Is everything clear? Yeah. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, guys. So now in today's class, okay, we are going to discuss about the nerve physiology. So we are going to discuss about the nerve physiology. Okay. Let me start from the basics. Now we are going to start about the nerve physiology. Okay. See, many students, okay, even many students, okay, those who are in their first year of MBBS and second year of MBBS, they don't have a proper understanding. Okay, they don't have. Just 1 minute, guys. Wait 1 minute. There is some technical issue. Hello, hello, not visible. Is it coming now? Whatever I'm writing. Just wait 1 minute. Accept. Shall I write? Shall I write? 1 minute. 1 minute. No, no, not full screen. Yeah. I'm writing now. I'm writing. Just wait. I'll try one more thing. Just wait. Give me 1 minute. Extremely just ఒకసారి pause చేసేసాను. Hello. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Hello, guys. Hello. Hope you can see me. Is everything visible? Hello, guys. Is everything visible now? If you can confirm me, we'll start the topics set today. Okay. There is a small technical issue as I am not in the studio. I am doing it from a different place. Is everything clear? Okay. Now let's begin with the nerve physiology today. Okay. Now let's begin with nerve physiology. Okay. Now, even before discussing anything, okay, even before discussing anything, guys, is everything clear? Please keep it in the chat box. Is everything clear? I don't know whether is it clear or not. My voice, my audio and video, is everything clear? Yes. Yes. Now, guys, now let me tell you from the basics. Okay, let me tell you from the basics. Now, right here, central nervous system or nervous system. First, nervous system. Okay, nervous system. Now, guys, please tell me. So, nervous system is divided into. Okay, though it's nerve physiology, I want you to know certain basic things. I want you to know certain basic things. Even those students from first year, second year, third year, they don't have a proper idea about the nervous system, sir. Okay, they might know what, the cardiovascular system, renal, endocrine, but nervous system is a little tricky. Okay, nerves, neurons. Okay, it's a little tricky, sir. Now, let me start from the basics. Now, nervous system, it is divided into, nervous system is divided into two types. Can you tell me what are the two types of, what are the two things which are included in the nervous system? It's the central nervous system, okay, CNS, as well as peripheral nervous system, PNS, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, CNS and PNS. Okay, now my question to you, sir, in the central nervous system, what are there in the central nervous system? Okay, now let's take it as an introduction to the central nervous system. Okay, I will also discuss here about the nerve physiology. Now, central nervous system, mein what are included? What are included under the central nervous system? Any idea, guys? Brain. You are having brain, right? Brain and spinal cord. So, brain and spinal cord, they are present in central nervous system. Then, what are present in peripheral nervous system? ये क्या है? What exactly is peripheral nervous system, sir? Sir, peripheral nervous system, it includes cranial nerves as well as spinal nerves. Okay, so cranial nerves as well as spinal nerves. How many cranial nerves one have? Say everyone, usually everyone have. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Okay, there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves, sir. And how many spinal nerves do we have? There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Cranial nerves hai and spinal nerves hai. Okay, so the cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Okay, cranial nerves and spinal nerves. They are peripheral nervous system. They are coming under peripheral nervous system. The brain and spinal cord, they are coming under the central nervous system, sir. Okay. Now, let's start from the basic level. So, what is a sensory neuron? So, the types of neurons, there are different types of neurons. Classifications are there, different types of classification. First, what is a sensory? Okay, what is a sensory neuron? Sensory neuron means, try to understand. It will take the sensations. For example, now imagine someone is coming and touching here. Someone is coming and touching here. Now, am I feeling that sense or not? Yes, I will be able to feel that sensation. I'm feeling that sensation. See, if someone is coming and touching here, sir, the sensory neuron is going to take that information. Okay, so these sensory neurons are also called as afferent fibers. Okay, in the nervous system, nerve physiology, what you should know is the sensory neurons which takes the information to the brain, so they are taking the information about different senses: touch, pain, temperature, pressure. All these sensations are carried by these sensory neurons to the brain. So these are called as afferent fibers. They are called as afferent neurons. Okay. Next, what is a motor neuron? So these motor neurons are also called as efferent fibers. Okay, motor neurons are also called as the efferent fibers. Now you will understand what is a sensory neuron, what is the function of motor neuron, you will understand. Okay, so sensory neuron means the sensory neurons takes the information to the to the central nervous system. It takes the information. Okay, motor neuron means what? Motor neuron helps in muscle contraction. Motor neuron helps in what? Motor neuron helps in muscular contraction, muscle contraction. If the muscles are contracting, what will happen? Movement, sir. Movement. If the muscles are contracting, it helps in movement. Okay. So two types of neurons I have discussed. Sensory neurons, they takes what they will do. They takes sensation or sensory information. Okay. Okay. They take the sensation or sensory information to the central nervous system. Okay, now you understand. Don't worry. Sensory neuron, motor neuron. In detail, step by step, I will explain it. Okay, now look here. I am showing you the cross section. Okay, first let me show you about the cross section. See, RO cross section of spinal cord. I hope you have shared this in your class 11th and 12th also. Okay, cross section of what? Spinal cord. The cross section. Now look, this is your spinal cord cross section, sir. I am making the cross section of the spinal cord. So now you are having the spinal cord, right? Now I am just making a cut like this. I'm making a cross section like this, and I'm showing you like this. Okay, so this is how the spinal cord is going to look like. This is the spinal cord. Okay, this is the spinal cord. Now in the spinal cord, this central area which I am highlighting, see this area, okay, which is in H shape. It's a central H-shaped area is there, right? H-shaped area or butterfly-shaped area. This is called as gray matter. So क्या बोलते हैं? Gray matter. So we call it as a gray matter. The central area is called as a gray matter. Now this outside, this area is there, right? This area, sir. Okay, the outside area, outside the H shape, that is called as the white matter. Okay, so there is gray matter, sir, as well as white matter. In the spinal cord, there is gray matter as well as white matter. In the basics, what you should know, sir, a gray matter kya hai? What exactly is gray matter, sir? What exactly is white matter, sir? Okay, try to understand, guys. Try to understand. Now, this is the neuron, right? You know the neurons. Okay, imagine this is the neurons. Okay, this is the neuron. In a simple way, I am drawing neurons. This is the neuronal cell body. What are these? These are the dendrites. Okay. These are the dendrites. Now, what exactly is gray matter? Gray matter means collection of cell bodies. The collection of cell bodies is called as a gray matter, which means they go. Now, look, imagine this is a cell body, sir. I am showing the cell body in a simple way, simple way. So this is the axon, this is the nerve terminal. Now, one more cell body, one more. These are all the cell bodies, sir. All the cell bodies, if you are keeping in one single place, these are all the cell bodies, and these are their axons. Axons are coming like this. These are the axons. And what are these? These are the cell bodies. Okay. Now, the cell bodies are now grouped together. This group which I am showing, these groups are the group of cell bodies. If all the cell bodies are grouped together, then it is called as gray matter. Okay. Then, what is this one, sir? These are all the axons of the cell bodies. Axons, a bundle of axons. So, this bundle of axons is called as the white matter. It forms the white matter. Okay, bundle of axons forms the white matter. Okay, group of cell bodies forms the gray matter and bundle of axons forms the white matter. Now you understand, sir, in the spinal cord, there is a central gray matter, right? There is central gray area or gray matter, which means here what do you have, sir? Here, all these are the cell bodies. They go here, you will have the cell bodies of the neurons. These are all the cell bodies of the neurons. Okay, the central gray matter. And what are this, sir? What is this one? This is a white matter, right? This is the white matter. Now, what is present in the white matter? Sir, in the white matter, axons are present. Axons are going up, axons are coming down. Axons are the neuronal cell body axons. Okay, the axons of the neuron cell bodies are present in the white matter. So, central gray matter hai and peripheral white matter. Peripherally, there is white matter. Okay, now right? White matter is made up of what? White matter is made up of axons. Gray matter is made up of what? Gray matter is made up of cell bodies. Okay, sir, directly we cannot form the words, sir. First, we have to start with the ABC. Okay, that's why I'm starting with the ABC. Okay, when you just follow it, you will understand. Okay, so in the cell body, sorry, in the spinal cord, there is central gray matter which is made up of cell bodies. Right? Next, you know what is gray matter and you know what is white matter. There you go. Draw with me. The more the times you draw, it will be easy for you to understand. What is this? This is the cross section of the spinal cord. Now, so what is this? This is the central gray matter. Okay. Now, guys, this is the this horn which I am highlighting. Okay, let me highlight with the pink color. So this part of the gray matter, these are the horns. Okay. See, these horns, they are like a horn, right? They are like a horn. They are called as dorsal horns. What they are called? They are called as the dorsal horns. Okay. Now, these which I am highlighting right now, sir, they are called as ventral horns. These are called as ventral horns. Dorsal horns है, ventral horns. In the gray matter is divided into dorsal horns and ventral horns. Okay, you know the two gray matters, dorsal horns and ventral horns. Now white matter is divided into. Now tell me, look at the spinal cord and tell me white matter is divided into how many areas? Okay, this is a spinal cord, right? White matter is divided into how many areas? Dekho. So this is white matter. In this area, this is the white matter. Okay, this is one area. Here also, this is also white matter, sir. This is also white matter. Okay, and here also white matter is present, sir. All this is also the white matter. This is also white matter. So white matter is divided into columns, sir. Okay, right? white matter. It is divided into columns. How many columns? Three columns. This column which I am highlighting, it is actually present the back side of the spinal cord. It's the back of the spinal cord. That's it, the back side. Okay, back side. So this is called as dorsal column. Okay, that's called as what? Dorsal column. Now these are sides, right? These are sides. These are called as lateral columns. These are called as lateral columns. Then what is this one, sir? What is this area? So this is also white matter, but it is present anteriorly. This is anterior. This is okay, anterior side of the spinal cord. So this is called as anterior column. Okay. So now tell me, in a spinal cord, how many regions are there? Sir, in a spinal cord, there is central gray matter, which is divided into dorsal horns and ventral horns. And the white matter, it is divided into columns. Dorsal column, lateral column, and anterior column. Anterior column. This anterior column is having one more name, anterior column, or you can call it as ventral column. Okay, anterior, or you can call it as ventral. What you need to know later, what you need to know is look. So again, draw the same image. More the number of times you draw, more more easy it will become the concept. So this is the spinal cord. Okay. There you go. Now this is the central gray matter. Okay, this is the central gray matter. Now you just tell me what is this horn that I am pointing. What is this horn, sir? That I am pointing right now. So this horn which I am pointing now, it is dorsal horn. This horn which I am pointing, this is the ventral horn. Okay, ventral horn of the spinal cord, dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Now you should know that dorsal horns, are they sensory in nature or motor in nature? Very important. Dorsal horns are sensory in nature or motor in nature, which means are they associated with the sensations? Is it receiving sensation? Or is it concerned with the motor activity? I am asking you. What is its role? Is it sensory? It is involved in sensory pathways, or is it helping in the motor pathways, movement? Remember, it is sensory. Why it is sensory? I will explain. Don't worry. So dorsal horns are sensory in nature. Ventral horns are motor in nature. Dorsal horns are sensory and ventral horns are motor in nature. Sensory as well as motor. Right? Okay. Now you will get a question. Sir, why it is sensory? Why dorsal horns are sensory? Why ventral horns are motor? Why? Why, sir, you are saying dorsal horns are sensory and ventral horns are motor? For that, you need to understand like this. Okay. Now, again, let me draw a small image. Now, again, spinal cord. This is my spinal cord cross section, central gray matter. Now, imagine this is my skin, sir. Okay, right now I am showing you my skin. Okay, this is my skin. Okay, now you are coming to me. You are coming to me and you are touching my skin, sir. Okay, you are touching my skin, something like this. When you are touching my skin, am I feeling that sensation or not? Just tell me. I'm feeling that sensation. I'm able to feel that sensation, sir. Now, students like you in your first year, like the pre-medical students, what they will think is, sir, I'm feeling the sensation over here. If someone is coming and touching here, people will think that they are feeling the sensation in this area. No, you are feeling the sensation in your cortex. Okay, first, this is the basic point which you need to understand. If someone is coming and touching here, you are not feeling the sensation in this area, sir. Actually, you are feeling the sensation in your cortex. There is a cortex, the cerebral hemispheres, right? Cortex is there. There you are feeling the sensation. Okay, actually, most of you right now who are listening to this lecture, you are thinking that you are able to see me. Okay, you are seeing me, right? My face with your eyes. No, sir. Okay, no. Straight. Um, is it okay? Yeah, I think yeah. Now you are actually seeing me. You are actually seeing me in your occipital cortex, sir. The cortex, the occipital cortex is the one which is looking. But you will understand it slowly, gradually. You will understand it. Now you are coming and you are touching on my skin. Okay, you are coming and you are touching on my skin. I'm feeling it or not? Yes, I'm feeling. Where I'm feeling? In my cortex. Now, question is how this information, how this information is going, how this information is going to the cortex. You are coming and touching. How this information is going to my cortex and how I am feeling it. How I am feeling it. That I will explain, you know. Okay, that I will explain, you know. Dekho, now you are coming and touching on my skin. When you come and touch on my skin, what happens? Okay, when you come and touch on my skin, what happens? So, as you are coming and touching on my skin, actually on your skin, there are receptors present. There are receptors present on your skin. What are they? There are receptors present. So, touch receptors are present in your skin. So, first the touch receptor is activated. They go, this is the touch receptor. TYUCH, touch receptor. This touch receptor is activated. Okay, you understand? Now, look. So this touch receptor, what it will do? Someone is coming and touching here. Mechanically, someone is coming and touching here. So that touch receptor is activated. Detects the touch. Do you know what this touch receptor will do? Sir, it is taking one form of energy. It's taking one form of energy. Now this energy, it is converted into, the energy is converted into receptors. Do you know what the receptors will do? They will take one form of energy, like mechanical energy. They will convert this energy into electricity or electrical impulses. Okay, so now the receptor, it is converting this mechanical energy touch into electrical impulses. Now this receptor, it is attached with a neuron. There is a neuron. There is this one neuron like this. Here is the cell body of the neuron. Now this neuron, it is entering into the spinal cord. Okay, so there is one neuron which is going from the receptor. From here there is a receptor. From here the sensory neuron, it is going like this, taking this information. Okay, now the electricity is going through this neurons, or the electrical impulse I should say. The electrical impulse, it is coming like this. Via this neuron, this information, someone is coming and touching here. Now, in the form of electrical impulses, this information is going through my hand via this neuron. This neuron is going like this, going like this, going like this. Now, this information is going to enter into the spinal cord. Now, the neuron is entering into the spinal cord. Sir. Into which area? Tell me. Now, the neuron is entering where? Now, the neuron is entering into dorsal horns. Dorsal horns. So, from now, remember, whenever someone is coming and touching you, touch, pain, temperature, pressure, doesn't matter. Someone is coming and touching you, touch, pain, temperature, pressure. Like, poking you, pinching you, you'll feel right. So, what exactly happens is, through this neuron, the information is going to enter into the spinal cord. Now, what is the name of this neuron, sir? It's a sensory neuron, right? It is taking the information to the central nervous system. It is entering into the central nervous system. This neuron is called as first order neuron. This neuron is called as what? First order neurons. This is called first order neurons. We'll call it as a first order neurons. Now, that. So that's why the sensations, see all the sensations from your body, all the sensations from your body will enter into the backside of the spinal cord. They will enter into the dorsal horn. So that's why dorsal horns, these are sensory. They will receive the sensations. Okay, done. Good, sir. Now, what is this horn which I have marked? This is the ventral horn. These are the ventral horns. What I have explained to you, ventral horns are motor in nature. Ventral horns are motor in nature. Why the ventral horns are motor? Why? Why the ventral horns are motor? Okay, let me explain you. There you go. Why the ventral horns are motor? Because now in the ventral horn, do you know who are there? Sir, in the ventral horn, the cell bodies are there. Okay, let me show you the different color. See, this is a neuron cell body. These are the neuron cell bodies. This is the cell body of one neuron, sir. See, from here the axon is coming out of the spinal cord. Okay, the axon is coming out of the spinal cord, sir. Right? Beg your pardon, sorry. So, from here, the neuron, it is coming out. Do you know where this neuron is going? Sir, this neuron, it will go to a muscle, sir. It is going to a muscle. So, this is a muscle. Now, this neuron, by producing the electrical impulses, see, electrical impulses will come down like this. Now, do you know what it will do? It helps in muscle contraction. What it is doing, sir? It is causing muscle contraction. So, what are these neurons? Sir, it is helping in the muscle contraction. It helps in the movement. It helps in the movement. So, that's why these neurons, these blue color neurons, these are called as motor neurons. Motor neurons. If you want to know the real name, it is called as alpha motor neurons. Okay, alpha motor neurons. Okay, so motor neurons are originating in the ventral horns or the anterior horns. These are the ventral horns, right? These are the ventral horns. Dorsal horns are sensory completed. Now these are the ventral horns. Now who is there in the ventral horns, sir? Sir, from the ventral horns, the cell bodies of alpha motor neurons are present. So this alpha motor neurons, they will go to a muscle, helps in the contraction of the muscle. So these are the motor neurons. Okay, understood? Now what else you should know, sir? What else you should know? Let me draw the same diagram and explain you little bit more concepts. Okay, now this is your spinal cord. Okay, so this is your spinal cord. Now what is this? This is the central gray matter. Here is the central gray matter. Now look guys, I am showing you little bit in detail. Here. Okay. Now this is your skin. Look, this is your skin, sir. Okay, this is your skin. Now what is this? This is the receptor in your skin. Okay, this is the receptor in your skin. Now someone is coming and touching you. Now tell me, when someone is coming and touching you, the receptor is going to be activated. Okay, the receptor is going to be activated. Straight. Yeah, this is your skin. Imagine this is your skin, sir. When someone is coming and touching on your skin, first this receptor is going to be activated. The touch receptor is going to be activated. Now this touch receptor, once it is activated, the touch receptors are attached with what? So the receptors, every receptors, they are attached with this neuron. There is a neuron. So this is the neuron. Now this neuron is taking this information, sir. Okay. See here, this is the cell body. Cell body is present over here. Okay. So this information, it is coming into the dorsal horn. You understand? So what is the name of this neuron? Already I have explained you. So the neuron which is attached to the receptor, it is taking these impulses. This is taking this information. Okay, touch, pain, temperature, or pressure information. Now this information, it is entering into the spinal dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Now what is the name of this neuron? You know it is the first order neuron. इसको first order neuron बोलते हैं. This is the first order neuron, sir. Right? Now question number one. Where is the cell body of this first order neuron? Okay, where is the cell body of this first order neuron? Just me 1 minute. I just want to charge. Okay. So, where is the cell body of the first order neuron? The cell body, this is the cell body, right? Here is the cell body. the cell body of the first order neuron, the cell body of the first order neuron is present in this area. What is this area called as? This is called as a dorsal. So क्या बोलते हैं? Dorsal. That's a dorsal side, right? Dorsal root ganglion. Okay, we'll call it as a DRG, dorsal root ganglion बोलते हैं. We'll call it as a dorsal root ganglion. Okay. Now the first order neuron, it is extending from the receptor. From here, it's starting from the receptor. Now it is taking this information about the information touch. Now it is entering into the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. It's entering into the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Cool. Now this is also, you know it. From here, the motor neuron is going to start. This motor neuron, it is going to come out like this. This motor neuron, it is coming out like this. And where it will go? It will go to the muscle. It will go to the muscle. And what it will cause? It's going to cause the muscle contraction. Okay, it's going to cause the muscular contraction, the contraction of the muscles. Okay. Now, my questions are, sir, what is this area? Can you tell me what is this area that I am highlighting? Okay, this area that I have highlighted. That area which I have highlighted, sir. Okay, sir, this area which I have highlighted, it is called as, it's present on the dorsal side. They are called as dorsal roots. They are called as what? Dorsal roots. Now tell me, dorsal roots, they contain the sensory neurons or motor neurons? What do you think? Dorsal root contains sensory neurons or motor neurons? The whole structure, this whole structure is the dorsal root. That's the whole dorsal root cell. Okay, in the dorsal root, there is dorsal root ganglion. Okay, dorsal root ganglion. Now question is, dorsal roots, they contain sensory neurons, no doubt. Dorsal root contains sensory neurons. Right? Now what is this root, sir? What is this root? Okay, what is this root? That's the ventral root. This is the ventral root. Now ventral root, it contains what? Sir, ventral root contains motor neurons. Dorsal root contains sensory neurons. Ventral root contains motor neurons which are helping in muscle contraction. The blue color neuron, which is also called as alpha motor neuron, I have explained you. Now, dorsal root is purely sensory. Right? Dorsal root is purely sensory. It's a purely sensory. Ventral roots are purely motor. Okay, dorsal roots are purely sensory. Ventral roots are purely motor. Okay, ventral roots are purely motor. So now, both the dorsal roots and ventral roots are you able to appreciate, guys? Here they go. Sir, this is the dorsal root, right? This is the dorsal root. The dorsal thing. Dorsal root and the ventral root. Both are fusing or not? Yes, both are fusing. The dorsal root and ventral root, see, they are both fused in this area. From back side dorsal root and from anterior side ventral root, both are fusing. Okay. For those student who doesn't know, dorsal means back side. Ventral means front side. This is the ventral side of my body. This is the ventral side. This back is called the dorsal side. So both the dorsal root and ventral root, both they will fuse. And can you guys tell me what is the structure that is forming? What is the structure that is forming? Both the dorsal root and ventral root, they are fused and forming a structure. Now this is nothing but your spinal nerve. Spinal nerve. Right? Now tell me, sir, spinal nerve, it is due to fusion of dorsal root as well as ventral root. Now spinal nerve, is it sensory or motor? This spinal nerve, it contains sensory neurons or motor neurons. What do you think? What do you think, sir? It contains sensory neurons or motor neurons? So look, the spinal nerve, it contains the red color fiber, red color neuron, that's the sensory neuron, taking the information to the spinal cord. And it also contains this motor neuron. Motor neuron is also present. Okay, motor neuron is also there, sir. Helps in muscle contraction. Helps in the muscle contraction. So now tell me, spinal nerves are mixed nerves. All the spinal nerves are mixed nerves. Okay, all the spinal nerves are mixed nerves. We have 31 pairs. Okay, we have 31 pairs of spinal nerves, and all the spinal nerves contain, for example, imagine this is one spinal nerve cell. Okay, this is one spinal nerve. Inside the spinal nerve, there is a sensory neuron taking the information to the central nervous system, and there is a motor neuron which is taking the information to the which is taking the information out of the central nervous system. Means that is going to the muscles, helps in the muscle contraction, help in the movement of the body. Okay, so spinal nerves are mixed nerves. Okay, done, sir. Now what else you should know in the basics is, sir, look here, the dorsal roots are sensory in nature. Dorsal roots are sensory in nature, they are receiving the sensations. They go dorsal roots, they are taking the sensory neuron. Okay, dorsal roots are sensory. Ventral roots, okay, ventral roots are motor. But spinal nerve is a mixed nerve. So this law is called as, okay, initially when the scientists were doing experiments, they found out that the dorsal roots are purely sensory, ventral roots are purely motor, but the spinal nerves are mixed nerve. This law is called as Bell Megendis. Bell Megendis law. So what exactly is Bell Megendis law? Sir, Bell Megendi. Okay, Bell Megendis law is telling us that the dorsal roots are sensory, ventral roots of the spinal cords are motor, but the spinal nerves are mixed in nature. Okay, now after knowing the Bell Megendis law, what else you should know? Basic things, sir. Now you should tell me, guys, you should tell me what's going to be the problem. Like, what is the problem? You should tell me. There you go, guys. This is the central gray matter, you know it. H-shaped one, the central gray matter. Okay. Now, can you recognize what is this that I am pointing? What is that area that I am pointing? So this area, these are the ventral horns. Those are the ventral horns. Okay, ventral horns are motor. From here, who will originate? Sir, from here, the motor neurons are going to originate. The motor neurons are going to cause the muscle contraction movements. Now, there is a virus. Actually, there is a virus. That virus will go and sit here. The virus will replicate here and causes the damage to the ventral horns. Now, totally, these ventral horns are damaged. Total ventral horns are damaged. Ventral horns are damaged. When the ventral horns are damaged, now tell me, will there be sensory loss or motor loss? The patient is going to have sensory loss or motor loss. Ventral horns are totally damaged. So the alpha motor neurons, the cell bodies of the alpha motor neurons are also damaged. The ventral horn is totally damaged. Now what happens? Now there will be motor loss. Motor neurons are damaged now. As the motor neurons are damaged, the patient is going to have paralysis. Okay, can you tell me what is this virus? It's a polio virus. Okay, polio virus. You know, you have seen the polio patients, right? How the polio patients will be? So the polio patients, they cannot use their limbs, especially the lower limbs. They'll be having paralysis. Do you know why there is paralysis in the polio patients? The paralysis in the polio patients is because the virus is going to affect. Okay, right? Polio damages. Polio virus. Polio is because of the virus. Okay, polio virus. So polio virus damages what? Ventral horns of the spinal cord. Okay, poliovirus damages what? Ventral horns of the spinal cord. When ventral horns are damaged, that will cause motor paralysis. The motor neurons are damaged, that will cause the paralysis. Okay. Completed. This is also completed. Now, what else you should know regarding the basics? Okay, basics in the spinal cord. What else you should know is, sir, what I have explained to you, all the sensations are felt where, sir? All the sensations are felt in the cortex. In the cortex, in the topmost area, the cortex, topmost area of the brain is called as the cortex. In the cortex, you are actually feeling the sensations. Okay. Now, how this information is going to the cortex? If you know this, very good, sir. If you know this in your first year itself, you are almost a brilliant student. If you understand this, you are a brilliant student, sir. Now, let me show you the cross section of the central nervous system. I am making a cut like this. Okay, I am making a cut like this. Central nervous system cross section. Look, this is how it looks like. These are my cerebral hemispheres. Okay, I am going to make a cut like this. These are my cerebral hemispheres. Okay. The cross section of the brain appears like this. These are the brain, the topmost area, topmost. These are the parietal lobes. This lobe, the topmost area of the brain is called as a parietal lobe. Side there will be temporal lobe. So this is parietal lobes. This is temporal lobe. Okay. Now down to the brain, what do you have? This structure which I am drawing. This is called as midbrain. तो क्या बोलते हैं midbrain? We'll call it as a midbrain. Okay, done. After the midbrain, down to the midbrain, what is the next structure in the central nervous system? Down to the midbrain, there is pons. इसको pons बोलते हैं. The next structure down to the midbrain, there is pons. Down to the pons, which structure is present? This is the structure that I am drawing. This structure which I am drawing, this is called as a medulla. Okay, this is called as a medulla. So now there is midbrain, pons, and medulla. These three structures together, they are called as brainstem. Okay, these three structures together, they are called as a brainstem. So top, I am showing you the brain. Down to the brain, there is brainstem. Now down to the brainstem, let me show you the different color. The brainstem, it is going to continue as the medulla. It is going to continue as what? The medulla is going to continue as spinal cord. This is the spinal cord, sir. So your brain is connected with the spinal cord, true? Okay, this is the spinal cord. Okay. Okay. Now let me show you the cross section of the spinal cord here for better understanding. You will get a better understanding, sir. Now look here. This is the cross section of the spinal cord. Simple, right? That's how the spinal cord is going to look like in the center. That's how. Okay. Now here is your skin. Your beautiful skins are here. Okay. Now one by one, we'll discuss. Sir, someone is coming and touching you. Okay, someone is coming and they are touching you, sir. Okay. Now whenever someone is coming and touching you, who is going to be first activated? Receptor is going to be first activated. Now this receptor is attached with what? This receptor, it is attached with a neuron. Okay, receptor is attached with a neuron. Now this neuron there. This neuron, it is coming like this. And here is the cell body of the neuron. So this is the cell body of the neuron. This region I have explained you, that is called as a dorsal root ganglion. Okay, let's put it this way. Okay, this is called as DRG, dorsal root ganglion. Okay, now this sensory neuron, where it is entering? Sir, it is entering into the spinal cord. Dorsal horn of the spinal cord. It is entering into the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Okay, not visible over there. Yeah. Okay, it is entering into the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Now, here it is terminated, sir. Here it is terminated. Terminated. The first order neuron. This is the first order neuron, right? It's taking the information. This is called as first order neuron. Okay, good. Now, do you know what happens actually? Sir, from here, this is the dorsal horn, right? I have explained you. There is a central gray matter. Cell bodies are going to be present. Now, from here, the second order neurons will start. See, these are the second order neurons. They are starting. See, and they are crossing to the opposite side. Okay, they are crossing to the opposite side. Now, sensations from this side of the body. For example, imagine this is right side and left side. Now the sensations from the left side of the body. Okay, the sensations are coming like this from your left side of the body. The sensations are entering and the sensations are crossing to the opposite side, sir. The first order neuron is terminated and it is giving this information. See, actually, the information is going in the form of electricity, electrical impulses. The neurons are just like the copper wires. Remember, neurons are like a copper wires. They are taking the electrical information, like they are taking the information in the form of electricity. Okay, so this second order neuron, look, it is going to cross to the opposite side, and in the spinal cord, now it is traveling up. They go in the spinal cord, it is ascending up like this. Okay, the second order neuron, it is coming like this, and it is going through where? It is going through the medulla. It is going through the pons, and it have even crossed the midbrain. It have crossed the midbrain. Now they go in the brain. There is a structure present. So this structure which I am drawing here is called as thalamus. Okay. So thalamus, that Y-shaped thing will be there, sir. Reverse Y-shaped thing. This is called as a thalamus. So this second order neuron, it is coming and it is ending. The second order neuron is going to terminate. The second order neuron is going to terminate. Terminate means stop. In the thalamus of the brain. Okay, in the thalamus. Now, look, sir, from here, from the thalamus, sir, actually this is the place where you are feeling all the sensation. Okay, this is the place where you are feeling the sensations, sir, from your body. Okay, now from the thalamus, see, the third order neuron is going to start. So the third order neuron is going to start and it's going to take this information to the cortex. So now cortex is receiving the electrical impulses. Now cortex will understand. It will feel, sir. Now in the cortex, you are able to feel the touch. So what I have discussed with you so far, in a simple way, I have discussed with you what is the first order neuron. Dekho. So this is the blue color thing. This blue color thing is the first order neuron. First order neuron is going to start from the receptor and the first order neuron is going to end in the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Dorsal horn of the spinal cord. Now from the dorsal horn of the spinal cord, the second order neurons are going to start. The second order neurons are going to start. The second order neurons will cross to the opposite side. The second order neurons, guys, it's crossing to the opposite side. We will call the opposite side as contralateral. Okay, contralateral means the second order neurons are crossing to the contralateral side, means opposite side. Now the second order neurons, they are taking this information. Now they are going up like this. They are taking this information till where the information is going to the thalamus. The information is going to the thalamus. Now in the thalamus, the second order neurons are terminated. Now from the thalamus, the third order neurons have started. Okay, and the third order neurons are taking this information to the cortex. Which cortex, sir? See, this is all the cortex. On the topmost part of our brain, there is cortex, sir. This is a cortex which is receiving the sensations. There is frontal cortex, there is parietal cortex, there is temporal cortex, there is occipital cortex. There are different cortex present. Now, what is this special cortex, sir? There is a special cortex which is receiving the sensations. So, this cortex which I have shown here, so this cortex is called as somatosensory cortex. So what do we call it? इसको sensory somatosensory cortex बोलते हैं. It is going to receive all the sensations. In the somatosensory cortex, you are feeling touch, pain, temperature, pressure. All these things you are feeling in the somatosensory cortex. Okay. Now, questions that will come in your exam. Questions that will come in your exam. Okay. Sir, how many types of neurons are there? The sensory neurons. Sensory neurons are classified into how many types? These are the sensory neurons, right? These are the sensory neurons. Right? Sensory neurons are first order neurons, ठीक है, second order neurons and third order neurons. First order, second order and third order neurons. Now first order neurons are present between where and where? The first order neurons are present between receptor and dorsal horn of the spinal cord. In the dorsal horn of the spinal cord, first order neuron is terminated. Sir. second order neurons. Where the second order neurons are present? The second order neurons where they have started, sir. They go. The second order neurons where they have started, the pink color ones. The second order neurons have started from spinal cord and they have gone till to thalamus. They have gone till to the thalamus, right? Now, third order neurons. Sorry, third order neurons. Where they have started, the third order neurons have started from thalamus. Yes, always first order neurons. Manisha, you are asking. Yeah, our first order neurons are always sensory. Absolutely, they are always sensory. First order neurons are always sensory. Second order neurons are also sensory. Third order neurons are also sensory. First order, second order, third order neurons, they are taking what? They are taking the information. They are taking the information to the somatosensory cortex. They are taking this information to the cortex. So they are sensory neurons. They are not the motor neurons. They are the sensory neurons. Okay. So third order neurons, tell me, they are starting in the thalamus. And where they are going? They are going to cortex. Okay, so first order neuron completed, second order neuron completed, as well as third order neuron is also completed. Okay, now you understand. So now from now onwards, you should know this. Sir, if someone is coming and touching on your skin, okay, where you are feeling in your brain, you are feeling in your cortex. So how this information is conveyed to the cortex? How this information is conveyed is first someone is coming and touching, receptor is activated, receptor is attached with first order neuron. Okay, on your skin, the first order neurons are coming and attached to your receptors. Okay, so this first order neuron, it is entering into the spinal cord and the spinal cord is terminated. Second order neuron is going to start in the spinal cord. It will cross to the contralateral side. It will cross to the opposite side in the spinal cord. And now it is traveling up like this. The second order neuron is going till to the thalamus. And from the thalamus, the third order neuron will take the information to the somatosensory cortex. So three types of neurons are completed. First order, second order, and third order. Now, next question, basic questions which you need to know is, so the information is going to the cortex or information is coming from the cortex? Now tell me, by look at this image, just tell me, information is going to the cortex or information is coming to the cortex? So information is going to the cortex or information is coming out of the cortex? Information is going to the cortex or information is going to the cortex. So these fibers are ascending up, right? The fibers are going up like this. So these are called as ascending tracts. So these are called as, right, ascending. The second order neuron in the spinal cord. Okay, I should actually keep here, sir, not here, here. The second order neuron, which is taking the information up. This is called as ascending tract. Okay. Ascending tracts. So what exactly are the ascending tracts? Ascending tracts, now tell me, ascending tracts are the sensory neurons or motor neurons? Ascending tracts are sensory neurons. They takes the information. Okay, some important MCQs that you should know. Look, some important MCQs, sir, regarding thalamus. So this thalamus, it is considered as all the information, they go, all the sensory information. It is coming where? It is coming to the thalamus. And the second order neuron is going to be terminated in the thalamus. So all the information, touch, pain, temperature, all this information will come to the thalamus. So just like all the buses are coming to the bus station, all the flights will come to the airport. All the sensory information, whenever someone is coming and touching you here, first that information is going to the thalamus. Touch, pain, temperature, pressure, all the information. So thalamus is considered as a relay station. Relay station. Thalamus is considered as what? Relay station. Okay. From the thalamus, which order neurons are starting? Third order neurons have started from the thalamus. Okay. Done. Next, what else you should know? Is, let me tell you. Ascending tracts completed, sir. How the information is going, you know it now. Okay. Look. Now, someone whom you know. Okay, someone whom you know. Someone is coming and touching you on your skin. Okay, someone is coming and touching on your skin. For example, you don't like that person, sir. You don't like that person at all. Toxic person. You don't like him at all. So when this someone comes and touches you, you have felt that. Okay, you are like you are just turning around, like you are just talking with someone. Someone came and touched you. You don't like that person. Now you have felt that touch immediately. You have felt the touch in the somatosensory cortex. You have felt that touch. Now you just look at him and you have to respond. Right now you have to respond to that touch. Now you don't like that person, so immediately what you have to do? You have to take your hand back. You have to take your hand back, sir. Do you know how it will be done? Let me tell you. How it is done is draw this diagram. Now again, Dr. Metroid, thank you, thank you. Okay, thank you, Metroid. I'm trying my best actually. Today there is a little issue with the studio. That's why I'm doing it in in my laptop with the uh, webcam. Okay, I don't know whether you can understand it or not. Every day, the normal studio setup, it's normal, sir. But today we are doing it in a laptop. So I'm just like feeling like a little weird whether it's are you guys are able to understand it or not. That too, it's a central nervous system. Okay, now they go in Metroid. So this is your brain, the main cerebral hemisphere, sir. Okay, so these are the cerebral hemispheres. Okay, now draw this with me. Now these are the temporal lobes, side also temporal lobes will be there. These are the parietal lobes and the temporal lobes of the brain. Now, what is this structure below your brain? What is this one, sir? This is called as a midbrain. Okay. Down to the midbrain, what do you have? Pons will be there. Down to the pons, what will be there? So this is the medulla, which I am drawing, right? Midbrain, pons, as well as medulla. Okay. Now medulla it continues as what, sir? You know it. So medulla continues as spinal cord. Medulla it continues as what? Medulla continues as spinal cord. Okay. Now I am showing the cross section. The cross section of the spinal cord. Here is the cross section of the spinal cord. Okay. Dorsal horns as well as ventral horns. Dorsal horns and the ventral horns. Dorsal horns sensory, ventral horns motor. Now here is your muscle. Imagine this is your biceps muscle. Okay. This is the biceps muscle. Now you have to contract it. You have to take your hand back. You don't like that person. You have to take your hand back. So do you know how exactly it will happen? Now let me tell you one by one. So actually, you have felt that sensation here in the cortex. Now your cortex understood. You felt the sensation. Now you look at that person. Now you don't like that person. Now you have decided. In the cortex, you will decide. In the cortex, you will decide. Arey, this is not a good person. You don't like that person. You want to take that hand back. Do you know what happens now? Sir, from this cortex. Now this is not somatosensory cortex. This is the different cortex. Sir. Now this is a different area. This is not somatosensory cortex. This is the motor cortex. Motor cortex. Okay. See, here is the somatosensory cortex. In front of the somatosensory cortex, there is motor cortex. Okay, imagine this is my brain, sir. Imagine this is my brain. Okay, gyri and sulci will be there, no? So there is this cortex called somatosensory cortex. I have explained you where you will feel the sensation. There is this cortex called as a motor cortex. Different. Sensory cortex is different, motor cortex is different. Now from here, look, from the motor cortex, one neuron is coming down. This is the cell body. Here is the cell body present in the motor cortex. Now your motor cortex is decided. Let's take the hand back. Now, this neuron is coming down like this. From the brain, the neuron, where it is coming down, sir? The neuron is coming down through the midbrain, through the pons, through the medulla. The neuron, it is coming down. Do you know what happens? Even you have studied right in your class, even a normal outsider know this. Right side brain will control the left side and left side brain will control the right side of the body. You know this, right? How? Do you know? Sir, this blue color fiber which is coming down, at the level of medulla, it crosses the opposite side. At the level of the medulla, it crosses the opposite side. Okay, at the level of the medulla, what is happening? The neuron is crossing to opposite side. Okay, and now it is coming down into the spinal cord. It is coming down into the spinal cord. It's coming down in the spinal cord. Now it came down into the spinal cord. Okay, now it came down into the spinal cord. So this neuron which I have shown you, this blue color neuron which is coming from the cortex, this neuron, it is called as upper motor neuron. Upper motor neuron. Okay, it is called as what? Upper motor neuron. So this upper motor neuron, where it is arising? It is arising from the cortex. It is coming down into the spinal cord. It is coming down into the spinal cord. Right? Now, in the spinal cord, देखो, so this upper motor neuron, do you know what it will do? Sir, देखो sir, clearly look here. This upper motor neuron, it is entering where the upper motor neuron is entering into the ventral horns. The upper motor neuron is entering into the ventral horns and it is getting terminated over there. It is terminating. Now, do you know what it will do? Now, this upper motor neuron is terminating onto the lower motor neuron. You know the lower motor neuron. Lower motor neuron goes to the muscles, helps in the muscle contraction. Now, the upper motor neuron, it is activating the lower motor neuron. See, they go. Now, this lower motor neuron is activated. Now, where this lower motor neuron is going? So, the lower motor neuron, it is going to the muscles. Now, the muscle is going to undergo contraction. Okay. Now, muscle contraction, when the muscle is contracting, you can take your hand back. Okay. So, what I am trying to put into your mind is, sir, now the upper motor neurons which are coming from this side, for example, right cerebral hemisphere, the upper motor neurons, they are coming down. The upper motor neuron crosses to the opposite side. See, this is called as decussation. We actually call it, in anatomy you will study, this is called as the pyramidal decussation. Okay, the upper motor neurons are crossing to the opposite side. Now they are traveling down into the spinal cord now. Now in the spinal cord, the upper motor neurons are terminating. The upper motor neurons are terminating onto the lower motor neurons. The upper motor neurons activate the lower motor neurons. So now the lower motor neurons are activated. Now what these lower motor neurons will do? They will go to the skeletal muscles and they will cause muscle contraction. Okay, they will cause the muscle contraction. So this is how upper motor neurons are going to control the lower motor neurons. Now tell me, these fibers which I have shown you, this blue color fiber and this pink color fiber, are they sensory fibers or motor fibers? Are they concerned with any sensation? Are they taking any sensation to the brain? No, they do not take any sensation to the brain. They are motor fibers. They are the motor neurons. Now tell me, how many types of motor neurons do you know? Two types of motor neurons. Upper motor neuron, एक है. This is the upper motor neuron, as well as the lower motor neuron, this pink color fiber. Now you already know it. This is the lower motor neuron, also called as what? Alpha motor neuron. Lower motor neuron or alpha motor neuron बोलते हैं इसको. Okay, upper motor neuron or alpha motor neuron. My question to you, sir, are they taking information to the cortex or from the cortex, out of the cortex? Are they taking any information to the cortex? No. They are taking the information out of the cortex. Actually, they are coming down like this. So, are they ascending tracks? Are they descending tracks? Are they ascending up? Are they descending? They are descending. So, these are called as descending tracks. Okay, descending tracks. So, now you know about the ascending tracks as well as descending tracts. Ascending tracts are sensory fibers that takes the information to the brain. They takes the information to the cortex. What are descending tracts then? Descending tracts will take the information from the cortex into the spinal cord and out of the spinal cord. Okay, understood? So these are the basic things, sir. Basic things which you should know. Okay, if you know this much, it's good, sir. It's good. Okay, so now tell me, how many types of sensory neurons do you know? Sensory, look, neurons. How many types of sensory neurons do you know? Tell me. First order neurons, first sensory. How many types of sensory neurons do you know? First order neuron, second order neuron, third order neuron. You know it. Now, neurons are also motor in nature, motor neurons. How many types of motor neurons do you know? Two types are upper motor neurons here coming from the cortex down to the spinal cord and lower motor neurons. Lower motor neurons. Lower motor neurons that are coming out of the spinal cord. So this pink color fiber. They are coming out of the spinal cord, going to the muscle, helps in the muscle contraction. Lower motor neuron or alpha motor neuron. So upper motor neurons completed, lower motor neurons completed. So now I understand ascending tracts and descending tracts. Always ascending tracts are sensory. Descending tracts are motor. Okay, the descending tracts are motor helps in the movement of the body. Movement of the body. Okay, so you understood the cross section of the spinal cord. I have shown you what are the dorsal horns, what are the ventral horns. Cross section of the spinal cord I have discussed. I have discussed about the columns, anterior column, lateral column, dorsal column, the columns in the spinal cord, the white matter, dorsal column, anterior column, ventral column. Also now I have discussed about the Bell-Magentis law. What exactly is Bell-Magentis law? You know it, right? The Bell-Magentis law, sir. Dorsal horn, dorsal roots are sensory, ventral roots are motor, spinal cords are mixed nerves. Also, I have explained you about the upper motor neurons as well as the lower motor neurons just here. Upper motor neurons and lower motor neurons, descending tracts. Also, I have explained you about this one. This one, sir. The first order neuron, second order neuron, and third order neuron. Okay, done, sir. So with this, the types of neurons, sensory neurons, motor neurons are completed. With this, the topic is completed. Okay. Now, you are asking, sir, reflex arc also. Before telling you about the reflex arc, let me tell you a few more things. Sir. Few more things which you should know. As a doctor, as a first year MBBS student, what you should know is, let me draw this for you. Sir, this is your brain. From sideways, I am showing you, sir. From sideways, I am showing you. This is your brain, sir. This is how your brain is going to look like. Okay, from sideways. Okay, now let me show you one by one. So, down to the brain, look, here there is the midbrain. Now let's take it as a midbrain, sir. Now, what is this one? This is the pons. Here is medulla. This is the medulla. Okay, medulla, it continues as what? Medulla continues as spinal cord. This is the spinal cord. Okay? This is the spinal cord, sir. Brain, brain stem. This is the brain stem. This is the midbrain. This is pons. This is the medulla. This is the spinal cord. Okay, spinal cord. Now my question to you. Sir, this is the topmost area of the brain. The topmost area of the brain. What is the topmost area of the brain called as? The topmost area of the brain is called as the cortex. 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 Now, I hope you already know this. Sir, if you look at the cortex, there will be gyri and sulci. Okay, there will be gyri and sulci. Okay, now here I am showing you one sulci, sir. The depression. Sulci is called as a depression. So this depression which I am showing you, okay, which I have pointed out here, this is called as central sulcus. This is called as what? This is called as a central sulcus. There is an area, sir, which is called as a central sulcus. Okay, sir, if there is a sulcus, okay, imagine there is a sulcus, back to it and front to it, there will be a gyri. See, there will be a gyri, sulci, and there will be one more gyri. So here it's a gyrus, which I am pointing. See, sir, actually this is the gyrus. Blue color thing, here it's a gyrus. And this pink color thing is also the gyrus. So now what are these areas called as? The names. The names. So here it is a central sulcus. Back to the central sulcus they go. This pink color area. Back means post. Back means post. So this pink color area, it is called as a post central gyrus. Post central gyrus. Okay. Why we are discussing it? I will explain you. So what is this blue color area called? Sir, this blue color area, it is called as precentral gyrus. It's called as what? Precentral gyrus. So pre means front. Front to the central sulcus there is a precentral gyrus. Back to it there is postcentral gyrus. Precentral gyrus and postcentral gyrus. Okay. Now MCQs which I want you to know is, sir, this postcentral gyrus. Do you know what is the importance of the postcentral gyrus? It is somato sensory cortex. It's a sensory cortex. It's a sensory cortex, which means your touch, pain, temperature, pressure, all the senses. If someone is coming and touching you, poking you, pinching you, touch, pain, temperature, pressure, vibration, what not, all the sensations are felt in this post-central gyrus. That post-central gyrus is acting. It is receiving the sensations and it is acting like a sensory cortex. There you will feel the sensations. And the precentral gyrus, which I have shown you, the precentral gyrus is called as motor cortex, this blue color area. Okay, this precentral gyrus is called as motor cortex. Means it is concerned with the motor movements. It is concerned with the motor movements. The pink color area is concerned with sensations, taking the sensations, feeling the sensations. You understood? Okay. For example, now have you ever heard about stroke? Stroke means the blood vessels which are supplying the brain, they got blocked. The blood vessels which are supplying the brain, the blood supply to the brain blocks. For example, the blood vessel which is supplying the post central gyrus is blocked. That blood vessel which is supplying the blood to the post central gyrus is blocked. Now, do you think blood is coming to this area? Blood is not coming, sir. So, what happened to the neurons in this area? All the neurons are dead. All the neurons are dead, sir. Okay, all the neurons in that area are dead, sir. So now, your post-central gyrus or somatosensory cortex have dead, undergone necrosis, dead. Now, someone is coming and touching. Are you able to feel the sensations? You cannot feel the sensations. Why? Because you are not feeling the sensation here. You are feeling the sensation in the somatosensory cortex, post-central gyrus. If I damage your somatosensory cortex, okay, if I damage your somatosensory cortex, you cannot feel any sensations. There will be sensory losses. Okay, there will be sensory loss. Okay, or if this area is damaged, this blue color area, if it is damaged, okay, this blue color, because of some reason, trauma or ischemia, because of some reason, the blue color area is damaged, totally damaged. Now, what happens? You cannot control the motor movements. The motor movements are not going to occur. Okay, the motor movements are not going to occur. So, there will be paralysis. Motor losses will be there. Paralysis will be there. You understood? These are the concepts. This is how you have to learn. There is somatosensory cortex as well as the motor cortex. Somatosensory cortex and motor cortex. Somatosensory cortex receives the sensations, feelings. Okay, you are all not just like, you are feeling the sensations. Motor cortex helps in movements. Okay, you understood? Let me explain the concept in a little different way. Okay, now, sir, imagine there is a patient coming to you. Okay, there is a patient coming to you. He is having a road traffic accident, sir. Road traffic accident. He is having an accident. Okay, road traffic accident. Severe accidents, serious injuries, where the lower leg is totally crushed. Okay, the the lower leg is damaged beyond repair, sir. So what you are going to do? You are going to do amputation. So you have amputated the leg. Now he became an amputee. Now there is no leg, sir. He became an amputee. He is not having his leg. One leg is not there, sir. But do you know something interesting? He is going to come after 1 week, sir. He is going to come after 1 week. Or I should say he is going to come after 1 month. He will say, sir, I'm feeling sensations. I'm feeling painful sensation in my limb which is not even present. So there is no, for example, right limb is totally amputated. Now he will come and say, sir, I am feeling the pain in my right foot. Sir, there is no right foot. Right foot, we have amputated the limb. No, the entire limb is amputated. But the patient is going to come and he will say, sir, my right foot is paining. Very severe pain is coming from right foot. How is it possible? Is it possible anyway? Then first of all, the limb itself is not there, then how can he feel the sensation? Remember, the sensations are not felt at this level. The sensations are not felt at the receptor level. All the sensations are felt in the cortex. He is not having the foot true. He is not having the foot true. But still, the second order neuron in the spinal cord, the second order neuron, third order neuron is still present. Because of some reason, if you irritate the second order neuron ending, the nerve endings will be there. No, you have removed the leg, sir, but still that second order neuron nerve ending will be there. No, some small nerve endings will be there. No, now if the nerve endings, if they are irritated, second order neuron is activated, third order neuron is activated. Now the information is going to the cortex that someone is touching the leg, or someone is, like, pinching the leg. Okay, so what I'm trying to put into your mind is sensations are felt here in the somatosensory cortex, not in the hands or not in the legs. You are feeling the sensations here. Okay, or try to understand. Imagine this is an electrode, sir. Electrode. Okay, now with this electrode, electrical impulses are going to be generated. Now with this electrode, I am touching. Okay, I am touching on your somatosensory cortex. I have opened your skull. Okay, I have opened your skull. Now I am looking at your somatosensory cortex. Now I am touching on your somatosensory cortex and I am giving shock. I am giving shock to your somatosensory cortex. Do you know what happens? You will start to feel that someone is touching your hand, because the somatosensory cortex, I am activating the somatosensory cortex. Now you will start to feel that someone is touching your hands, sir. No one is touching your hands, but you will feel that someone is touching your hands, sir. Okay, if I stimulate the motor cortex with this electrode, if I stimulate the motor cortex, automatically your limbs will start to move. Okay, your upper extremities, your lower extremities, they will start to move, sir. Muscles will start to contract and movements will occur. So movements, the decisions about the movements will be taken in the motor cortex. The somatosensory cortex is receiving the sensation, and there you are feeling the sensations. Okay, somatosensory cortex is post-central gyrus, the pink color area. The motor cortex is the pre-central gyrus, the blue color area. Okay, so this is the basic points which I want you to know. Okay, if you know this, in tomorrow's class we will know much more about, about the in detail about one single neuron. We will discuss in details about the neuron, how the action potentials are going to be generated, how a neuron is going to produce action potential. That we will discuss in the next class. Okay, so these are all conceptual things. Okay, I have gone slowly only. I hope you can understand. Okay, how the information is being carried to the central nervous system, and from there how the information is going to come out. Okay, hope the class is helpful, sir. See you in the tomorrow's class. Okay, you need to be, regular, sir. Every day, time to time, whatever I am teaching you, you need to be regular. So regularity, discipline is the key for success, sir. Okay, okay, guys. Hope the someone is asking about the thyroid problem. That will be done in the different sessions. Okay, these are the physiology classes. Okay, guys. Hope the class is helpful. Tomorrow's class will be. Thank you.